Competition Commission is going after Facebook and WhatsApp owner Meta. It's accusing the company of violating the Competition Act through an abuse of dominance. It's relating to the offboarding of government's communication platforms, that's GovChat and hashtag Let's Talk. Commission wants the company to pay over 10% of their collective turnover. Well, let's find out what the Commission is hoping to achieve by either a penalty or getting these features to continue to exist. Joined by the Commission's Tembi Nkosi Bonakele. Tembi Nkosi, good morning to you. So which is it? Do you want GovChat and Let's Talk to continue, or do you want a fine to be paid? Tembi Nkosi, forgive me, I suspect you may have your microphone on mute. You and I were fine a few moments ago. There we go, my apologies. Let's try again. Let's start that answer again, Tembi Nkosi.
Yes, so we want both. We want GovChat and Let's Talk to be kept on this Facebook platform because it's providing a very, very important function for citizens. But it's also important that small players and innovators like GovChat are able to use platforms to grow their businesses. The fine is also important because it's a deterrent, it's a message that if you engage in this type of conduct, authorities will clamp down on you. So with this case, we are pursuing both.
I believe back in July 2020, the discussion around the intention to offboard both GovChat and hashtag Let's Talk began. So we're now 2 years, almost 2 years later. Why is there this plan to offboard these two apps? What can you tell us? Why is it happening?
Well, I think that maybe just a little bit of a background. Facebook has this functionality that they provide to businesses that enable businesses to communicate with block messages. It allows them to have like chat rooms and things like that. So a package that is designed for businesses. And so what GovChat has done is they've innovated in this with this platform. They have made it to be useful for the public to interact with government. So they've created intrinsic value out of it. So what Facebook is saying is now that they want to offload GovChat, and it's very clear to us that they're going to replace GovChat with their own business that does the same thing, or a business that's associated with them that does the same thing. And that's really the reason why we have said offloading them is an abuse of dominance. So it has stayed on in the system for these 2 years because GovChat then went to the tribunal and interdicted Facebook from offloading them. So they are still there. And what this case does is to preserve their position in the market.
It doesn't seem to be anti-competitive behavior, though. There's a dominance question to be brewing, but anti-competitive, no. There's nothing stopping government from coming up with their own technology to do this. Surely this is viewed as a company that provided a service that was used by government and others, that company simply not using and not wanting to continue that service. So why would there be a way of forcing them to provide a service they no longer deem as useful?
Because actually, not everybody can establish or replace the WhatsApp Business API, which is this platform that WhatsApp has. So GovChat, which is not a government, it's a private player, but is able to monetize this platform for government purposes. So people who are inquiring about social grants, people who are inquiring about all sorts of government services, COVID-19, issues, you can go into their platforms and communicate with government. You can communicate with government about potholes. So you can't replace that because it's based on the massive data that Facebook has and collects from people. So that's the reason why it's not easy to replace. So in that sense, it is an abuse of dominance because it is such an essential facility that if you don't have it, you can't access the market.
One could argue as well, though, before I say goodbye to you, that when you accept the terms and conditions on WhatsApp, Facebook or Meta, that if you read those conditions, and I'm sure you have, Tembi Nkosi, the owner of the propriety and the intelligence is allowed to do what they want with it. It's what we all agree to when we sign up for these things.
Except that there is a law that provides that when you are in such a strong position, when you are so dominant, there are certain responsibilities that you have towards consumers, but also towards other players in the market. So you can't close the market simply because you are the proprietor of that platform. So you are responsible for preserving access into an essential facility, and this is what we are arguing has happened here. There's been an exclusion which needs to be addressed by competition authority.
Very, very briefly, so it's an essential service, one could deem this. So where are we on this? Just give me a timeline according to your calendar very quickly.
So we've now filed the case. They have to file an answer, which they will do in the next month or so. And then there will be pre-trial procedures. These are usually long in a complex case like this. So a case like this is likely only to be held in 12 months' time. So in a year's time, we're expecting that there will be a full-blown hearing on the matter. And then we will see if there is a fine or there is some kind of an interdict, as we have asked for.
It's going to be fascinating to follow this court case as well. Intellectual property at play here, but also questions of essential services to citizens of South Africa. Appreciate the Competition Commission's time. Tembi and Nkosi Bonakele from the organisation joining us this morning. Don't go